Special event alert.
Drop the beer, put your car in gear, because you are late for Changeover, your weekly space news and variety show. I'm your host, Marty Smith, and I'm joined by Mr. History, Eric Perrott.
Fellas, good evening.
And our man in the closet, Jake Wall.
I liked that intro. That was a good one.
Oh, you did? I didn't like it. Well,
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, never mind. It sucked, Marty. Come up with it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Damn.
We're here to bring you the latest headlines and updates pertinent to all Guardians and to the other lower branches as well. So take your seats, get informed, and have a laugh as we present Late for Changeover. So our little mule is truly late for changeover. All right.
Mm-hmm.
He says he's driving back from his, I assume his son's game. He just said
Yeah,
the game.
And I just complimented on how well he wore the uniform the other day.
I know.
Oh,
I
yeah,
saw that. You
sure.
really did. You said
Oh,
that's what a
man.
senior NCO looks like as he
That's-
shaved all that and dressed up and
that's
gave a
looking
first
good.
salute. So
Juan, you're looking good, buddy.
Well, I can't tell now.
Until now. You're late.
this last week I was in Michigan. And I went to Grand Rapids, Michigan, which is crazy to go to a smaller town and you step off on the airport and you're like, oh, this is going to be a madhouse. And you're like, no, it's not. It's really not. And I'm like, I got to get they didn't have any rental cars. They were all rented out because it's so small. So it's like,
Come on,
fuck,
G-Rap.
I
You
gotta
got
get
better
a
than
cab. I got to trudge out there. And they're like, no, right here. Come on in.
Does that
I was
work?
like, why is everybody so nice here?
Was that work?
No, it was for my my mother-in-law's internment.
Huh?
So
Why are we laughing?
the empathetic voice of our man in the closet. So,
because you could have just left it. Yeah, it was a mystery, but then you had to be like, let's dig up some traumatic shit from your past.
well, I mean, it wasn't traumatic because she actually passed last year, so it took a while to get this, or earlier in the year, I think. So,
Marty, let's talk about your parents' divorce after this too.
Let's cover all the sad stuff.
Thanks.
first.
Sir.
Yeah. So your childhood dog hit by a car?
Did your father
Man.
beat you? Did he beat you?
What the? Well, I'm just trying to bring up some. We went out to Pine Lake. That was beautiful. That was cool, man.
Oh, was it pretty?
Yeah, that was
No,
cool.
let's don't change this now. Let's change late for changeover for late for therapy.
Yeah.
We
Or
three
just-
knuckleheads could give
Or
you
just
therapy.
late. The late.
Was it humid and nasty, or was it?
Yeah,
pretty-
it was humid, but it was nice. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I do better in the humidity than I do in this high desert. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
Yeah.
but it was nice, and everything was so. You know, I called up the boat guy, and I was like, I want to rent your houseboat. You know, who we rented it from, and he's like, okay, $1,000 for the thing. You know, $350 a day or $1,000 for 4 days. I was like, oh fuck, I'll take it for 1,000. And then it rained one day, so I called him up, and I was like. You know, he goes, how'd you like it? And I was like, it rained one day. He goes, I'll knock it off. I'll knock down the price. And I was like,
Oh,
what is going on
Does
in
it
Michigan?
nice.
What is going on?
Wow.
Colorado.
Yeah.
I even went, I
Wow.
picked my son up who came in the day later. And I went back to the airport and I made that mistake. I went into the wrong parking and long term instead of short term. I was like, fuck. Take your ticket. And I was like, DIA is going to charge me $2 just for
Oh,
driving to the exit.
Yeah.
And I stuck it in there like, hey, thanks a lot. Take care. And I was like, I had the card.
Colorado would
Ooh.
have charged you for you renting.
I know.
Oh, it rained on it. You need to clean it now.
Extra.
Oh, right,
Extra.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
The moisture.
and you know,
feed.
that's probably, I don't know if it's necessarily Michigan, but it's definitely that kind of backwoodsy feel. So it was like, that was
Down
nice. It was
home.
nice to be around. I hate it coming back here because as soon as you step off the plane in DIA, I'm like, motherfucker, man. You know. So anyway,
those
you
new
guys good?
construction signs in DIA are hilarious. Did you read any of
Um,
those?
No.
Because there's always that mystery about. There's always a conspiracy theory about DIA.
Yeah, right,
and
right.
all that crap. And then it was like,
Did they play up on it?
oh, they did. I got to look it up for you.
No
It
shit.
goes like
Smart.
construction
That's so good.
or cover up. And then it has a picture of the freaking tent building, right? But on
That's
the boards
great.
blocking it off. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good.
I
You know
still
what
have
I just noticed tonight, guys?
What's
I
that?
got to say this. I just noticed this. Jake's back door behind him looks like it's the door to the universe, man. Open the door and you step off like Twilight Zone, man.
Like a Doctor Who kind of thing,
yeah,
right?
you see the stars and shit. That's awesome.
All right,
Cool.
so Juan's here. I hope he's like breathing heavy and stuff.
Juanito.
I am back.
All right, man.
Nice.
That was good. How'd your son do? They win?
Yeah, they won. Like I said, this year's like a winning season, so that's awesome.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
yeah.
Have they lost at all?
One game. That's
One
it.
game. Well,
Yeah.
to recap, we were just praising you until you were late, and then we were cursing you.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
like-
sorry. I
Good job,
apologize.
Senior NCO. Shitty job, Senior NCO.
Well, I'll tell you. So I'm not sure if you got into that topic of the article with Forster trying to shape up.
Oh,
No, we
yeah.
just started. We just started.
Yeah, we just
haven't got
started.
there yet. All right.
But now that you
Hold
brought
your
it up,
fuel, baby. Hold your fuel.
I've got a strict script here. I can't. I don't have the freedom to just.
Oh no, yeah. 'cause
Marty
I have a
can't.
lot
He
of that
can't.
in-
Well,
and
I could, actually.
what I witnessed at OTS was like, really, this is what you're allowing. Woke into that conversation. But,
All right, I can't wait for it. I can't wait to get into that. All right. So, look at this. Our first. Are we ready for the news? We got any more banter?
Bring
Yeah.
on
No,
the
no,
news.
no.
All right.
I posted that
Um,
CNN article in the chat
What's CNN
So,
article?
for the Denver DIA conspiracy theory. It
Oh,
says the
okay.
pictures
All
and
right.
stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
So our first story, gentlemen, do you think Boeing's had a great 2024?
oh no.
They're killing everybody out there.
Well, our first story comes from a website. I think you sent it to me, right, Jake? Livescience.com, right? And I think I merged two articles here, but basically both articles say the same. NASA again delays Starliner undocking and return to Earth. All right.
Ooh.
So the livescience.com article says astronauts stranded in space due to multiple issues with Boeing Starliner, and the window for a return flight is closing. No
Drop a
more.
tire or
Now
get
or
something.
never.
Or a door,
Or
or
a
a hydrazine jet, or
Something.
I
two
think
NASA
the
astronauts.
hinges that they're buying are just messed up. Sorry.
It might have been the same supplier for that
Yeah.
helium leak
Yeah.
they got, or the 5.
They've got some
helium
serious
leaks they
quality
got.
control issues, huh?
Yeah, they do. Two NASA astronauts who rode to orbit on Boeing Starliner are currently stranded in space aboard the ISS after engineers discovered numerous issues with the Boeing spacecraft. Teams on the ground are now racing to assess Starliner's status. So this was updated just yesterday. Astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams. I can't remember if they pronounce her Sunny or Sunny. I think it's Sunny.
This is, yeah. So,
Launched on June 5th and were originally scheduled to return to Earth on June 13th after a week on the ISS, but their stay has been extended for a third time due to the ongoing issues. The astronauts will now return home no sooner than June 26th. All right, so that's Thursday,
Tomorrow.
I think, right?
Tomorrow.
If, right? After years of delays, Boeing Starliner capsule blasted off from Cape Canaveral on June 5th. But during the 25-hour flight, engineers discovered not one, not two, but 5 separate helium links to the spacecraft's thruster system.
And Venom slid it on board. That's how Venom got here.
I mean, can you see that mission control is like, I got one. Fuck, that's 3.
Ooh,
That's
me too.
enough. Hey, I got one.
Hey. Thruster 4? Yeah, I got 4.
Oh no, it's gone too.
Next one. Bingo, bitches. I got all 5.
To give engineers time to troubleshoot the faults, NASA has announced it will push back the perilous return flight, extending the crew's stay on the space station to at least 3 weeks. Now, in all fairness, the issue for Starliner troubleshooters is that the helium leakage and the thrusters in question are located in the Starliner's drum-shaped service module on the bottom, which is attached to the base of the crew capsule. The service module is jettisoned prior to re-entry and burns up in the atmosphere. So, given that engineers will not be able to examine the actual hardware after the fact, NASA and Boeing managers want to give them as much time as possible to review telemetry, to continue testing, and to polish contingency scenarios in case additional problems show up after undocking. So, I get that. Now, that might be clever spin, but that also makes sense. It's like, well, if this piece that we're having all the problems with is going to be disintegrated,
Or
well,
is
let's
it?
take a look
Did
at
it fall through somebody's house recently?
Not yet.
I was
That's
just checking.
later. Don't spoil the show, Eric.
You're ruining the surprise.
The return module of the Starliner spacecraft is currently docked to the ISS's Harmony module as NASA and Boeing engineers assess the vital hardware issues aboard the vessel, including 5 helium leaks to the system that pressurizes the spacecraft's propulsion system and 5 thruster failures to its reaction control system. However, the Harmony module's limited fuel means Starliner can only stay docked for 45 days. So the window for a safe return flight is narrowing. So they got to match that orbit, you know, if you do the orbital mechanics stuff. So they only have certain times. And they're like, no.
NASA,
Wait
we
another
have a
day.
problem.
No.
Yes. It was becoming a Apollo 13 type of thing.
Well, I mean, I hope
Well,
not.
yeah.
I hope not. But I mean, man, you got to have some.
You would think.
You got to have
Yeah.
some puckered buttholes, right? It's when you detach from that thing, right?
And am I really going to get to come home without the help of a Russian spaceship?
Well, or here comes Elon soaring
Elon.
up there with Starship,
Well,
and I'm
and
like, hop in, bitches.
We'll rescue. We'll rescue you.
We do
Well,
this
and
every
Snacks.
Thursday.
Exactly. Here's your resupply, guys. You want us to take anything down?
Keep shut.
These 2 guys? All right.
All right, hop on. You got to sit in the back with the shit, but you'll be
Back
fine.
middle.
We'll
Calls
see.
back middle.
Nobody wants the thruster hump.
Exactly. Gosh dang it.
Just to recap, Starliner's first uncrewed test flight in 2019 was scuppered. They used the word scuppered. Was scuppered by a software fault that placed it in the wrong orbit. And a second attempt was held back by issues with the fuel valve. After more reviews last year, the company had to fix issues with the capsule's parachutes and remove around a mile of tape that was found to be flammable. Remember, we covered that a few months ago, right?
Yep.
Officials said they were confident the helium leaks could be managed even if one or more gets worse after undocking. Only 7 hours of helium is needed for the return to Earth, and the Starliner has more than 10 times that amount left on board.
Don't you love the guy sitting in control on Earth going, we can manage that leak. It's not a problem.
How
I'm not
about
on that
5?
ship.
Can you manage 5? And he's like,
I'm not worried about
exactly.
I think we'll be okay. I think we're all right.
Don't worry about that.
that one. Tell that guy to sit on the hump. You'll be all right.
Shit, this thing's gonna come back in like a balloon with the knot untied. It's just like,
What a mess.
I hope not. I hope they can figure it out. And it sounds like they got it figured out, but it's kind of a sensationalistic story when they're like, hey, they're only supposed to be up there for 5 days. Now they're going on 3 weeks.
So many
I-
problems.
I still think it's crazy how we reverted back to capsules. You know, we started with capsules, went
Yeah,
to the
that's a
shuttle, and
good
now
point.
we're back. Why are we back at capsules?
And
It's
that
just
capsule
like,
doesn't
they
look
can't-
any fancier, even though it probably is. But still, it still looks like
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
was it the
stuff
shuttle
on top
the
of
advanced?
Saturn's, right?
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
so hopefully they can figure this thing out tomorrow. And we'll see if they can make that launch window. If not,
Imagine
then,
though being those astronauts right now. Like you're thinking like, shit. Look what happened with the planes,
right.
and now we're stuck with this shit. Like we're gonna
Yeah.
have to fly back into the atmosphere, and we're having all these leaks. Like it's like,
Well,
I'll tell you, I'll probably be tripping.
I know
And the
how
normal
mad I
crew
was.
on the ISS.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
They gotta
And
be
they're
pissed.
probably like, oh my god, I thought they'd be
They're
out of
like,
here by now.
shitters full again. Dude, Glenn's in there all the time. All the time, man. Space doesn't agree with him. I told you not to bring him.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
All right, you guys ready for a spacewalk? Oh, hold on.
nope.
Oh,
will
okay.
somebody
Okay.
please call my wife and tell her I'm not coming home?
You couldn't have gone pee 20 minutes ago. You knew it was coming.
I
Imagine they try to hitch a ride. They're like, "Hey, is it cool? It's like, oh no, we're out of space. We're just
Yeah.
sorry. Just
right.
you're just gonna have to
You're
chill
gonna
here."
sleep in the capsule. You gotta sleep in the capsule. I got all my clothes on that bed. I can't possibly.
Oh, there's
use my
leaks.
clothes.
Just use some
feet,
gum.
my
Just cover the
face.
leaks. Use some gum, duct tape. You're good to
We
go.
got a spare duct tape. Here's a roll.
Well,
Leftovers.
we used to, when we were in Schofield, the only place that you could fire the big charges, you had to fly over to the Big Island, right, from Oahu. So they would use that. We would barge all our equipment, and then they would fly the personnel from Oahu over to Hawaii. And every time they would do that flight, it was like some National Guard flight from the States would use that as like credit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they would fly
the
over to
sorties,
Hawaii.
yeah.
They would fly us over there, and then they would spend a week there until they flew us back. But as soon as you saw that tail fin with something North Dakota National Guard, you're like, this
The plane's
plane is
breaking.
guaranteed to break down on our way back.
Yeah.
And sure as shit, it always
One
did.
more week.
And so we're out the tarmac, and they're like, "Not today, fellas. Tomorrow." And how livid you are.
Time to
These
go home.
astronauts are 3 weeks overdue, man. They're like, son of a bitch.
Not today, boys. Tomorrow.
No.
Hey, I guess in the bright side, they're getting younger though. Not getting older in space.
Oh yeah. Well,
Call the
there's-
PAX terminal.
So they
see if
can't say, "Hey, I ain't getting any younger." It's like, well, you're in space, so you are
you
getting
got,
younger.
you got that interstellar logic going there for
Yeah.
a second.
Call the
So-
PAX terminal. Get on Space A availability. Check it out.
Is all this tax free? Is all their per diem tax free?
That's a good
Oh.
point.
It's a
Is
hazard
it hazard
zone
pay?
But how
Yeah.
many days they have to be out of the country, though?
in the new month. It's always new month.
Yeah.
One day into the new month.
They
That
might
month's
not
that's-
fix
that's
that.
an
They might
interesting
not
question.
fix that helium leak until July 5th.
We
You know?
need to check that out, man.
Hey,
Ooh.
their crew chief, they're made up crew chiefs. Are, hey, sorry, boss, it fucking broke down.
We got
Sorry,
you
it's not
20. We
Hawaii.
got you back 29 days. Sad, well, too bad. So,
We need to ask that question. I'm curious now.
yeah, that's
Oh.
good. Okay, Eric, let's go to the next story, which will warm Eric's heart, which I'm always
Trying to
concerned,
do.
right? All right, this comes from
Consider
taskandpurpose.com. Uniform inspections. Oh yeah, I did 2 different articles on this too, right?
That's awesome.
So one was from Air Force Times. That's thousands of airmen face inspection as 4-star warns of lax standards. So we'll just go with that one. Right?
Lax
Oof.
standards.
Close to 70,000 airmen can expect a surge in, quote, back to basics uniform inspections and a full court press on shaving rules in the next month, according to a memo and orders issued by the commander of the Air Force's largest command, Air Combat Command.
ACC.
General
Yes.
Kenneth Wilsbach, who took over as a commander of ACC in February, issued orders Monday that every unit under his command, which is about 20% of all active duty Air Force members. Holy shit, I didn't realize
whoa.
that. Big.
A fifth, 1 out of 5.
Will refocus on, quote, standards of conduct, dress and appearance, physical fitness, and the observance of customs and courtesies. Oh, I didn't know that was.
It's about damn time someone stood up and
Pendulum's
said,
going
"This
There
back.
he goes. Yeah.
bullshit has got to stop. It's about time."
That will
I-
mean open ranks uniform inspections at every unit in the ACC, a review of shaving waivers issued on either medical or religious grounds, and mandatory shaving classes for any airmen seeking a waiver.
That's awesome.
Not like this, but like this.
That's
want a waiver?
awesome.
That's almost
Oh
like,
my-
oh, you want to get your ACL fixed? Well, go do 8 weeks of physical therapy,
PT.
and then we'll assess you.
Yep.
So
This one,
I
you want a shaving waiver? All right, go do 8 weeks of shaving
Shaving
classes.
classes.
Come back.
So I totally agree with this. So last week when I went to Maxwell and I saw what's getting recruited for OTS from prior enlisted, I was like,
yeah.
where is the standard, the weight standard stuff? I've never seen so many like I mean, I'm a big dude, but these people were fat, like in OTS
Yeah.
training.
Yeah.
They have full beards and stuff like that. So I'm talking all this shit and you know, my buddy who I'm saluting, he's like, hey, you know, you really don't have to shave. Like, people are not shaving this and that. I was like, no, I'm talking all this shit. I'm not gonna have a double standard. I'm shaving. I'm wearing my uniform.
Yeah,
I'm doing all
nice.
this.
Good on you.
Granted, like that uniform was fitted for me when I was bigger on top because I used to do heavier weights. So I didn't like the way my uniform fit. I was more like a SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh,
But-
how bad was that button?
Yeah, so
Like
back
that
no,
word
those
swole,
buttons,
baby.
everything was fitting. Everything was fitting fine. I was like, oh, cool. But
You looked
it was
good,
just
Ron.
like just to see like how relaxed it got in the training environment was
Oh, yeah.
I was like, dang, dude, like this is what they're accepting. And I sounded very crusty. So my buddy who I gave the first salute, he was a master sergeant. Like, don't worry about it. I totally get they fucking hate me in my class because I'm always putting them in check and this and that, right? So we were those
Hell
guys.
yes.
Nice.
But man, it was just like Eric, you would have lost your mind. You would have been like,
Oh, I'm sure of it.
WTF, like what's going on? And then not only that, but some people were invited to do first salutes, and they were still active duty, and they did it on civilian clothes.
Oh.
I'm like, dude,
Oh,
you got
crappy.
and then the space culture. This is what also disappointed me. So if there's people listening, Space Force, how is it that there was prior space guys and you guys didn't come and support your people, but the maintainers and defenders and people
Always.
that come from those, guess what? They made an effort to go see their people commission.
Yeah,
Right on.
always. Right. Yeah.
Right
So
on.
I mean, like then how are people going to buy into it if those cultures are not being set up? And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, cool, nobody's going to come and see me anyway. So why should I care? If they don't care, why should I care?
It's corporate. It's a corporate world now, man.
It was even
Hey.
good to see the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force jump on the bandwagon and say standards are faltering bad.
Well, yeah. Well, they
the
talked
hate of
about
the
that.
mission.
I think we covered that story last year when they had that chief who was like, "I don't give a shit if you got a waiver or not. That doesn't help. You know, stop wearing your skinny jeans." And
Yeah.
remember that the cologne.
Yeah.
Chief-
He was
yeah.
He
It's
he
like
was
that's not a fashion
E9
show.
for all the services.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Wrong color nail polish will do it every time, baby. Every time.
let's see. Let me at least show you. That's General Wilsbach. Right.
boy,
That's who took
General.
over for ACC.
You got my vote.
He says, quote, while the vast majority of airmen maintain professional standards, I am concerned by a discernible decline in the commitment to and enforcement of military standards, he wrote in his memo. He said he laid out 3 central areas of concern: adherence to standards, unit inspections, and shaving waivers specifically. As an all-volunteer force, we willingly relinquish a portion of our individual freedoms in order to be part of an elite team. An essential element to being part of this elite team is the high standards we hold as an institution. Adherence to higher standards of conduct, dress and appearance, physical fitness, and the observance of customs and courtesies are critical to our identity as military members. So that's what 4-star General Wilsbach said.
But man,
General Wills
General
was probably
still,
called.
the general still needs to kind of hook up those sides so they're not in the tapered appearance. So like,
He's
he
looking
needs
good.
to also
He's
show up.
looking good.
Yeah, he's looking good though. He looks Simon Pegg, but you know he's got to make sure if you're going to be calling people out, there's like, well, you
You better have your act together.
you might don't let the hair touch the ears, because I got a failed inspection as an instructor in ATC. So because my hair, so everything was flawless. I was just, man, it was looking good until she was a defender. Actually, she came and she was finding something to get me on. She came all the way close to me to see if my hair was touching my ear, and that was a fail right there.
Are you gonna look?
I was
Jake?
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm,
No,
it's
but I'm
close,
saying,
Ron, it's
like,
close.
I know. Look at that. Look at yeah. And these are probably out of regs right now, but no, I'm just saying though, it's. I think it needs to start from top too. Like they need
And that-
to.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
We've had that discussion. That pendulum was going to swing back, and
Yeah.
It's
Well,
time.
I was
think,
gonna
honestly,
wait. I was gonna wait till the end, but I'll ask it now. Is like, do you think that this whole thing is just going to produce this mountain, this flood, this avalanche of EO complaints or complaining to whoever they can go to, or do you think that it was just people were just waiting for somebody with the force of will of this 4-star to put his foot
Balls.
down and go, enough of this bullshit.
Yes.
it will depend if they're willing to take a handful of EO complaints and dismiss them.
yeah,
If the people below him are like, that's bullshit, I know that's bullshit, no,
yeah,
leave.
yeah,
Throw this complaint away. Now, the first couple of times that EO complaint sticks,
yeah,
that
it's done.
might
Yeah,
make a different story.
You're cut. Yeah, you're undercut.
But
I
then
think
again,
the
the other thing
4-star
though,
has enough power to push this and go, guys. This isn't about equal
It's getting
opportunity.
bad.
This is about getting
could
back to being a freaking military and setting the standards the way it's supposed to be.
And
well,
I
and I
hope,
think.
yeah,
But what are they afraid of though? The retribution is more. So let's say they do everything in the processes that the Air Force has set up and the military has set up. But you know what you can't control is these things called cell phones and what they do in social media. And so the thing is, leadership becomes reactive on the things that get posted on social media and becomes public.
That's true.
And that's the other thing that they.
That's a good
so
point.
it's like what it's like a balance thing that they
So
have to
maybe,
do. But if he does everything professionally.
but maybe General Wilsbach is actually speaking more to the commanders in the field, saying, "Look,
Yeah.
I've got your back. You don't have to be afraid anymore.
Stand up
right?
and fix the problem.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
do what you think is right. You may get some heat from JAG or whoever they choose to go
Yep.
to, but I've got your back. So, and maybe that's the first guy to go.
it would be
Oh
fun
shit!
to
Nobody
see,
supported us before.
and I don't know if anybody could pull it off. It would be fun to see the first random guy that's heavy or the random guy with a full beard that talks shit online. If some of the leadership was like, respond back. Here's the rules. He's out of regs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good point.
Kind of crap. Like,
You
no,
know
we
what,
don't-
though?
That
we've
would shut
created-
social media down quite a bit.
We've created that as a population of humans in the United States because the majority of people are becoming so obese. So it's just not the weight
Yeah.
piece of it.
Yeah.
Well, but
mean,
but they're
holy
but
cow.
I think the
No,
biggest
yeah.
thing, Eric, is that they're getting away with it because
Oh, yeah.
leaders are too afraid to discipline
address it.
them
Sure.
because they got two conflicting messages in their head, and maybe it's not overtly, but the message is out there is like, we're short on people, don't be kicking anybody out, so be extra nice. But then the other message is like, that's not how I was raised in the military. I got to control these standards. So they're conflicted.
Well, I'm
So-
hoping, like you said, the 4-star says, I got your back. Let's do this
That
right.
may be all it is, right?
And,
So let me
and if
fi-
they're
let me finish this out,
consistent,
what he said.
Let it go. That's fine. It's as long as they're consistent.
So he says over the next month, commanders are expected to conduct a multi-layered unit inspection of all assigned military members. He wants open ranks to be held by every unit by July 17th. It's
Yeah,
like,
man.
he ain't fucking around, boy.
Mm-mm.
Along with open ranks inspections, or along with open ranks uniform inspections, the review will include records inspections in which commanders must review all military members' personnel records to ensure medical exemptions and religious accommodations are current and valid.
Right on.
RAR, which is
He's gunning for
religious
those beards.
accommodation requests, right?
Yeah.
RARs. They can cover shaving and beards as well as certain exemptions from some uniforms and hair rules. RARs are also the primary route military members have used to request exemptions from taking the COVID-19 vaccine. RARs are issued by commanders after a review of members' personal religious beliefs and commitment by a chaplain. I didn't know a chaplain had to sign off on that, too. So,
Yeah, I thought it was just
who's
I
the
like how
Viking
this-
chaplain
all
who's
the stuff-
signing up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
Well, did you catch that though? Okay, so beards and religious things, but he is like, and no vaccine dismissals
Yeah.
either.
Right.
So you get no beards,
so
and
here's
you
the
also
thing
get
is-
no rights to say no on vaccines.
Now I think there's another way to fix this, and people hate this. Blues Monday.
That
Oh, I
That would
remember
solve
that.
Think about-
quick.
Yeah,
No.
remember that? Yeah. I
Because
remember that.
because man, I'm telling you, if you look frumpy and you look like shit in your blues, man, that's like because I know for ATC Blues Mondays, it was every Monday. We hated
Yeah,
it, but you always want to look good in your blues.
but it
make sure
actually
everything's
made you, it forced you to
Yeah.
get your uniform
haircut,
straight, right?
everything else.
Yeah,
Like it's just
yeah.
like you use looking standards.
See, we never
And-
experienced that. We had guard mount prior to work every
Yeah.
day where you
Yeah.
had an NCO looking at you going,
Oh, yeah,
your
right,
boots
right.
look like shit. Your
Right.
shirt's not ironed. It's not standing at whatever.
And-
Did you do
Yeah.
guard
But
mount
as-
in
as
like
weapons, we did that
BDUs
too.
or were you in like Class Bs or whatever? it was?
Both. Depending on the post you held, you're
Yeah.
either in blues or in
I
battle
suppose
jet
if you're like
uniform.
in Washington, you're going to wear like the
yeah, or
short
an honor
sleeve and all
guard.
that stuff. Right,
guard
right,
mount
right.
was whatever uniform you were instructed to wear for that position. So
Well, here there.
As
Oh, go ahead,
weapons, we
Jake.
had that kind of thing too at roll call.
Yeah,
He would
yeah.
make sure we're all in the same
Yeah, right.
in the same crews, and all the crews were made up. But you stood there in your uniform, and they called you out if there was anything,
you
or they
evaluate.
called
And
the
going up-
sergeant at the front of the line out.
Right.
Going along with that, let's talk about the uniform and I was having this discussion with Joe Schmidt at the TAP lab. We gotten away from that because we were just wasting a lot of time shining our boots. We have these suede boots. We were increasing this, but you know what we lost there is the attention to detail. And I didn't really think about this, and I didn't really just give it a lot of thought. But those little things and just paying attention and taking pride just on your uniform, that one thing alone, I think does transfer slowly to all the other things that you do.
Yeah.
By us even relaxing that little by little, we ended up relaxing as a military culture on all the other standards.
Absolutely.
And I think that falls on us. And like I say, get back to basics. But now we because they say, we're wasting too much time. We're doing this. Comes from DOC services. But
Well, and it's
like,
funny
and-
you say that because Army does it every morning.
Yeah.
Like every morning. You know what I mean? So
And yeah, so those little attention to details, I think if we were to bring those back in, but really explain to people and the leadership what those attention to details and those little things that you're looking for actually does and builds, I think, there's a thing. But we all of us accepted because I was like, oh, cool, I don't have to shine my boots no more. I got to make sure my suede boots look good, or I don't have to worry about a crease. I don't have to do about that.
No,
But
yeah.
that transferred to getting relaxed on other things.
were you issued core frames in basic one?
No, I
You
wasn't.
had
I had to
straight
shine
leather?
Yeah,
Oh,
Yep.
yeah,
Me too.
Surprised.
No core
yeah.
frame.
and I
Yeah,
I
we
came,
all were.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
And I
but
still
I
came
think
in
they're getting
BDUs.
core frames now. you
So
know?
I got talked to by a senior airman when I was at 11 Swiss. When I got issued my flight suit, I would iron it and I would shave it because the flight suits would get the little buzz
The
balls.
All
Like,
these-
beaties.
oh, you spent too much time on your uniform, this and
Yeah,
that.
you had to get that.
But I
fuzz
like my
buster.
uniform looking good. And
Yeah.
after a while, and I'll be honest, after a while, it's like, man, this is a lot of work and this and that. And the more people told me you're spending too much time, I relaxed. But instead of saying, oh, that's awesome, right? It's like, that's cool that you
Yeah.
take pride in your uniform. I got the opposite.
I
Right.
don't
So
know,
it's
you
like,
strike me as a guy who would have sewn his pockets shut, Juan.
no, I would not.
Oh.
I never did that. I would iron I made sure everything was like
Well, that
Pocket
like I
cylinder.
said, there were two publications that ran this, right? Air Force Times, which is that picture from Wilsbach, and then Task and Purpose ran it. And there, there's more of an emphasis about the shaving stuff in there, but the message is clear. Hey, we're going to look at the shaving waivers. So Task and Purpose, they cover it with this picture. How suspicious is that picture? Right?
I've seen worse beers than that. That one actually looks clean.
I know,
compared to
but
the other ones I've seen.
they put this on the picture under their headline, and I was like, why is the
They're
black guy
cracking down on
focused in
shaving waivers.
Why is Don Cheadle, Colonel Rhodes from the Marvel universe, why is he singled out there? Doesn't he look like Don
I'm
Cheadle?
just,
That's
A little
freaking-
bit.
I don't think he does. Yeah,
Thanks.
but
Thanks for killing the joke. I appreciate it.
sorry.
Yeah,
But
No,
what
Marty,
I'm saying
you're wrong.
is, yeah.
I don't.
But
see
what
it.
I'm saying is, I just think like his beard. It's according to the shaving waivers, it looks what it should look like.
Yeah,
Because like
that's
other
what a
people,
shaving waiver
they
beard
line
should
it
look
up.
like.
yeah, it should look like.
Yeah, scraggly.
Think about all
yeah.
the civilian companies that now have military people that have separated, that come to work looking like some of the people you guys have all worked with companies. And you go, did you not look in the fucking mirror today
Yeah,
and
right,
see
right.
what you're wearing is inappropriate for my office?
All right.
What in the hell? So
Well, and
it's
the
not
civilian-
just military. It's stepped into every pocket
Yeah.
of what we do.
Right.
It's too
And
bad.
the civilian world has a problem with that too. But
Absolutely.
they can just not hire you. That's their
True.
power.
But then you'll definitely get a complaint there.
All right.
You didn't hire me because you didn't like my jeans? Come on, right? Or my freaking shirt that says some poor freaking analogy it shouldn't be on my shirt.
What? I can't wear my
Skinny
Ed
puppy.
Hardy jeans into this interview? What's the
You
matter?
know,
you
it
don't
says
you don't like sparkly?
Hey,
I
it-
love
it depends
Trump
how
or
much
something.
flair it has, right?
Well, as satisfying as that story was to Eric, now
Yeah.
I'm going to give him a story to get his blood pressure back up.
Oh,
All right. So this, let's see. Oh, fuck me. Sorry.
Ooh.
Yeah, I put the wrong
my.
banner on there.
you're being very
Um,
promiscuous. out
But
there.
this is from taskandpurpose.com also. And the Navy eases career-ending rules for sailors who fail 2 consecutive fitness tests. So sailors' careers will no longer be over if they fail back-to-back fitness tests, according to updated U.S. Navy policy. Now, instead of automatic marks on their annual evaluation, sailors' fitness and overall health will be observed and considered by their respective commanding officers. Shut up! Sorry. The change announced by the service in an administrative notice this week essentially puts more discretion in the hands of individual commanding officers with the physical fitness assessment. The policy went into effect on June 18th. So they're saying instead of kicking you out, Commander, it's up to you now to make a call on whether to keep the guy in.
So
Right.
I think it depends, right? What's the reason? Because I've seen some guys are fit. I'm talking about could do the push-ups, the sit-ups, they could run, and they're bigger, but the waist measurement, right? Like I think the waist measurement was. I don't know how the Navy does that,
Yeah.
but I've seen some guys that look good all around. But unfortunately, the waist measurement because they were just bigger guys that
Well,
got built and
now,
stuff. So
now, hold on. We're not talking about somebody who can pass the fitness test who looks like a bag of donuts, because we all know guys like that. They can run. They shouldn't be able to run, but they can run,
They can,
Yeah.
push-ups, sit-ups, and all that stuff. But they just don't look that great. We're talking about failing a fitness test.
all around.
Yeah, this is you failed. You
Okay,
failed your
yeah.
fitness test. All right. So the former policy, one failure meant being automatically placed into a mandatory fitness program. A second consecutive fitness test failure barred sailors from any promotion or being able to re-enlist. But now it
Were you not
removes all
told
that.
that when you enlisted in the Navy?
Well, yeah, right. But
Boom.
if you fail too, Then it goes to the commander, and the commander can make an exception. He can say, look, this guy's working. He missed it by, a minute on his run or something like that. He's good at his job, so I'm not going to boot him. Right now, I'm not going to put any of those restrictions on him. However, you got to show some progress. So that's the good side, right? The bad side is like, nope, you failed. I'm kicking you out. So it's completely up to the commander, right?
Yeah. And you know what
I
it
don't
all
know.
boils down to, right? Navy's low on people, right?
Yeah.
Those ships are balanced,
right.
man. You need some fatties to ballast that thing out.
Well, and I think
what you
when
gotta
they
do.
really get stricter, yeah. And I believe when they really get strict on the
Ships are
standards,
going
that's
like
the
this.
easiest way to get people out.
Well,
That is
it
true.
was always a force shaping tool, right?
Yeah.
It always was a force shaping tool. But Jake, you said they got rid of that. I don't remember when they got rid of that for the Air Force, because I remember it was basically 2, and you're going to get a referral EPR, which means essentially you're going to be booted,
Get
right?
booted. Yeah.
Or you're not going to be allowed
But
to re-enlist. At least
It's
that's
up
what
to
it
the
was.
commanders now. It's in the Air
It's up
Force.
to
But
the
now it's up
commander.
to the commanders, right?
There's a matrix, and it says
Yep.
recommended, but commander has these options. So you could fail 4 times and still just get an LOR. They don't
Yep.
have to kick you out. But the moment you can't play favorites, because if you do like an LOR for one person, you have to do it for everyone else. And it's just like one of those things. So like the first person that commander, like they're going to set that precedence for that individual. It's going to be for everyone else.
Well, I tell you, the one thing about the fitness test failures that used to drive me insane, and it would probably drive most of you guys insane, is that you're standing there, you know your people, you know this guy failed, but he gets called up for some award, and you're like, why are we giving this guy an award and he fucking failed his fit
Can't
test?
pass this fit test. Yeah.
Right?
There's a degree of ugh with that.
But how many people did you see that may have failed a PT test, but were running circles on not physically, work wise, and everything else around those
Work-wise.
people actually deserve recognition for the work that they were doing.
No, they don't.
But you
You're
got to
not
be
meeting the
complete. You got to
standard.
be complete. The way I was raised, you got to be
So
a
who would
complete
you-
soldier,
okay.
a complete airman.
No,
right?
okay, so you could be a complete soldier, but then I'm saying there's an argument because there's some people that look great, and here's the thing is there's people that physically look great and they were pieces of shit at work, but they always got recognized for those physical accolades. That also drove me nuts because they were like the
I
model
just-
person that they always wanted to put up front,
Yeah.
but then
Yeah.
I know I would not want to work with them,
All right.
and I would rather
One-
work with the person that just failed the PT test that I know were taking care of their people, doing everything they could.
Have you
So
guys
it's one
heard
of
of
those
the
things.
whole person concept?
Yeah, the whole person. I
One
remember.
element.
Yeah,
Yeah,
does
It's
not
fine.
but that award
defend
wasn't for the whole
your
person
job.
concept. That award was
That-
just for your right for getting 100 on your PT test. What's that award for?
Well, sure.
That's
right.
it, right? What's
But
the Ops Crew of the Quarter award for?
I've
It's for
seen
the ops.
an
Yeah,
airman
ops stuff.
win Airman of the Quarter who failed a fit test. And I'm like,
Now that
that's bullshit.
right there, they aren't the whole Airman of the Quarter. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
bullshit.
They
You
weren't
ever
the
see
airmen
somebody?
of the.
You ever see somebody get promoted who had a fit test failure?
No, I was
Yeah,
one
me
of them.
too.
I didn't get promoted. I've
Me
had
too.
a PT failure before.
Right.
You
So,
didn't, yeah.
but,
See,
what
but he
I'm
got
saying-
skipped over, right?
But
Yeah.
but we all
Yeah,
see
see,
that.
that's
and
what Marty's saying. He's like,
That's
Yeah.
the
Shouldn't get
things that
promoted.
eat away at the unit morale. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, this, our command wants to give awards so bad. And it's like, don't give this guy an award, sir. I mean, I know he's done great this quarter,
least
but he
not
also
yet.
failed a fit test this quarter. And they're like, no, I'm
But
awarding
I
him.
think
It's
there's
like,
ways. There's ways. I'm
people
not
will
saying the
see
awards,
that. People will see
but there's
that.
also ways to recognize them by just thanking them for the work that they're doing and stuff like
Well,
that.
sure, that's fine.
But
that's
that's
fine.
what I'm
but
saying, though,
you
but-
stand him up there and make him airman of the quarter, and everybody knows he just failed his fit test.
No, but I've seen the opposite where they just want to give them work, but the person that gets, like Jake was saying, the 100% stuff like that. But I know me, I would not want to work with those people because they're there. So, and that's the thing. And sometimes in the units, you'll see people that were all fitness, all this, and they were just like the person that people they just want to put up front. But they know like their focus was different. Then you have the people that always worked a lot.
Right.
And then you have the people in the middle that try to be the whole person concepts, but find those people too.
Yeah.
Those are very rare. So I think it's a balance.
Yeah, and usually that balance is unbalanced.
I'm with you, Marty. It's unbalanced. I'm like, I
Because
ain't
as soon as
buying
you
it.
do it once, you're
Yeah.
invalid from
Yeah.
there on out.
There
Because
goes another
everybody in the
poor
unit
standard.
knows it. You know?
Yeah.
And like, oh, they're going to give this guy an award? He just fucking failed his fit test. You know?
Or the guy that got an EPR as good as yours, and he failed his, and I passed mine.
Yeah.
Well, the Air Force. So after I don't know, the Air Force actually had a PT meets or doesn't meet. That's it.
Yeah.
And then all the other blocks were different. So if it doesn't meet, it doesn't meet, and that's it. But that followed me like a few years when I failed and it said did not meet. It actually followed me to 3 different boards. So it
Yeah.
took me a
Wow.
while.
Right.
Tech sergeant was my favorite rank. I held on to that one for 10 years.
Same with teapots.
Well, he liked it so much he came back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but I'm just saying that it's and I'm not saying that just because like I had PT issues, but just I would see just like there was like the PT monitors and the
Right.
PTLs. They always seemed at the time when the Air Force was very heavy on PT, very favored by the commanders.
Well, sure. Because that's an easy one, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, look at this guy. He can run forever. Let's I mean, that's easy.
Juan, you should have started your career out playing
Go send him
football.
out play
You'd have been in
football.
great shape. You'd have never
had to take a
failed
PT test.
You'd
Yeah,
be great.
but Eric, to be fair, you did the freaking bike test.
Yeah, that's a good
Right?
point. That's
They
a good
measured your
point.
fat neck and they did the bicycle.
And they're
Okay,
like, oh, this
but
guy
listen-
stresses.
Listen,
And freaking
cops,
go ride that bike.
you're right. But cops also had an internal PT test.
Oh,
We ran mile and a half, even if you weren't, the bike test. Yeah, that's a bunch of crap. But we had our own PT test too. Trust me.
all right. Good discussion. Oh, that was good. I like the passion.
I'm glad to
Yeah.
see the
Passion.
standard question is coming back, man. I really am.
Well, yeah, sure.
I hope.
And
I
who
hope.
We
knows?
knew it was
Maybe,
coming, right?
like Jake
It was-
said, that pendulum has swung, and maybe it's
Yeah.
time to kind of like, let's bring that back to center,
Yeah.
and some of these moves. Now, the Navy's doing it for retention. The Navy does.
And ballast.
The
Hey guys, a quick question: how much of automation do you think plays in our physical abilities anymore? The fact that we are a force that does a lot of desk stuff.
Oh,
We've
it's-
automated
That's
so
that's a
much
good point. I mean, look at
that we're not physical anymore.
look at
Well,
the
the other
drone
thing-
stuff, right? I mean, that drones is an emerging job, right?
You don't have to do anything.
Well, and that's why everyone gets so down. I get on these Facebook things. You say the wrong thing, and they're like, "Oh, space. What do you know?" And it's like, well, we had that discussion. I think it was last year, right? Playing devil's advocate. It's like, does this guy really need to be at a ranger level fitness when he's pulling 12-hour shifts? Doing intel
at
work
console.
for.
Yeah.
through
Oh,
the
but I bet you they
satellites?
got 100% of their PT test.
yeah. And promote
You
now.
see where I'm going with Marty? Okay. So here's
No,
the
I
thing.
don't.
Force's
I don't
first
see where you're
ever
going. I don't know
But
what
you know what?
Ranger tab holder.
But here's the
Space
thing
Ranger.
is
Space Ranger.
the thing about so this still staying with PT. I remember 21 years. There was times to say, hey, we want you to be fit, so you will during the duty day be allowed to go work out. Then they took that
Fit to
away.
fight.
Oh,
Fit to fight used to
yeah.
be the
Then-
They
motto.
took
But-
that away too, though.
And then they took that away. So
Yep.
I mean,
Right. It's like, hey, just fit to shift. How about that? Fit to pull shift. Are you
And
fit to pull
that's
shift?
it. Right, Marty?
Well, it was interesting.
On shift, we barely, if we had enough crew members, we could go use the gym.
That was
But
nice.
you were kind of
Yeah.
screwing, and it was all shift dependent.
right.
At AETC, man, we did squadron level and like wing level runs and PT.
Yeah. Those are cool,
Like,
man.
We
Yeah.
did the morning 5Ks, we did all that kind of crap because they allotted for that time. No.
But at the
That's
same time, Eric, I mean, what you brought up is like, yeah, I mean, obviously Space Force doesn't need to be at the fitness level as an 11 Bravo infantry in the Army. However, going back to General Wilsbach, he's saying this is the institution and this is what you need to conform to. So, yeah, fitness is part of it. You know,
Yep.
tough shit.
I agree.
I dig that. You know, I get that.
I agree
right?
too. No.
Okay. All right. Let's get to our last story here. So, if you are one of those types of people who worry about things beyond your control, which my wife is very worried about everything beyond her control, right? Well, then this next story should give you some fresh material to keep you up at night with all the anxiety you can muster. So,
Ooh.
from space.com, all right, a Florida family files claim with NASA after ISS space junk crashes into their home. Now, I searched and searched. I could find no pictures of this, which was disappointing. NASA has a claim on its hands after a chunk of space junk crashed through Alejandro Otero's seaside home in Naples, Florida. How'd I do on that? Juan? Did I do that okay?
Yeah,
The incident occurred on March 8th as debris tore through the roof and 2 floors of his family home, nearly hitting his son.
Wow.
NASA has since confirmed the debris came from a 2.9-ton pallet of used batteries jettisoned from the International Space Station in March of 2021. So there's the pallet being jettisoned. Now, it had a link to the story of this in 2021, and they're like, hey, the ISS just got lighter. It just got rid of almost 3 tons of batteries. And these should be in orbit for several years. Well, they had a guy in that story is like, I don't know, like 4 years, this is probably going to deorbit, and it's so dense, it might cause problems.
Wow.
It won't burn up.
Yeah.
Wow.
So 2021, it only took 3 years, and that thing deorbited like a mother.
Mm-hmm.
Could you
So-
imagine if that killed somebody?
Well, that's what
Then-
that's why he's bringing the lawsuit.
I would too. Holy cow.
NASA
We were talking about space junk the other day. And
Eric,
it's never going to
just
fall
for
out. It's never going to
reference.
fall out. Oh,
I literally just looked up the most recent satellite catalog, and there's 60,090 cataloged pieces.
they're
There
flying
you go.
around.
and a lot
Ready
of
to
them
come
are
down and
smaller,
get
but
you.
there are some.
And those are
2.9
actual
ton
like
a pallet.
cataloged pieces. Yeah.
I mean,
We don't
and
need
you
to worry
don't
about
hear
World
like
War
a
III. We need to worry about space junk falling
you
on
don't
your head.
hear like a whistling incoming that may give you 5 seconds to dive out of the way. This is just like, oh shit, it's here. It's there, right? So
Man.
NASA has since confirmed the debris came from a 2.9 ton of pallets of used batteries jettisoned from the ISS in March of 2021. The structure was expected to burn up completely in Earth's atmosphere, but it did not. Micah Nguyen Worthy, in a statement from the law firm representing the family, points out that under the Space Liability Convention, NASA would be liable had the debris caused damage in another country, but but there's nothing for the U.S. So NASA can be liable for another country, nothing for the U.S.
But hold on, it's the ISS, so NASA could be like, it's not American. The Russians let go of those.
Well,
battery
they could
packs.
claim
I don't know.
that.
You could.
This one they proudly claimed was theirs when they jettisoned
Oh.
it in 2021. It's like, they got
Put in the- oh.
NASA logos all on the side. They're like,
And NASA was here. Call for fun on the logo.
that's not
open-
ours. Yeah,
Open
no,
mouth,
that's
insert
not
foot. Woo.
Uh,
So,
Are,
Jake,
are you telling me if this thing like demolished a small family in Mexico, NASA would be like, here's $1 million. No.
I
Get
didn't
the hell
look
out.
up what the Space Liabilities Convention is, but at least they would cop to it. But in the U.S., they're like, yeah, sorry about that, buddy. You know.
It's not going to happen.
So this law firm is trying to bring this lawsuit to make that point and maybe change the law. The incident has the potential to set a precedent for governments and private space companies in terms of how compensation could be handled for victims of similar incidents in the future. Though their damage was less severe than that caused at the Otero home, several other reports of crashing space debris have occurred in the past year as well,
All Boeing
including
related. All Boeing related.
including portions. Hold on, including portions of a SpaceX Dragon trunk found in Canada.
Shit, Elon.
So this was found in Canada.
Holy cow.
Look at that farmer's like
Small car.
fucker
Yeah.
that
No,
landed on
He's
his farm.
definitely got left nipple cancer. That's for sure. Fucking A. Look at all the debris and stuff hanging off that.
And a piece of an Indian Space Research Organization rocket landing on a beach in Australia.
Wow.
So look at that motherfucker.
Holy cow.
Shit. It's like, wow, man, this stuff's just dropping out of the sky. I mean, there's a bunch of nerdy scientists like, I thought that was supposed to burn up.
And
Why
again,
did it burn
if I was
Oh.
some guy at the beach, I would say, "Hey, thank you, God. I actually got it home."
Ooh, man.
Look at that. It fell from the sky.
And that's all this year. That's, these are incidents
that's
just this year. So do that again or say that number again. How much is up there, Jake?
60,090. That's the number of things that are in the satellite catalog
So there's
right now.
much potential
there's-
for
there's
more of
more
these
than that.
things happening,
Yeah.
right?
But
Yeah,
Eric,
that's
if you
insane
look
to
at that Kessler
terrifying.
syndrome is a theoretical syndrome where you're worried that everything on low Earth orbit, one catastrophic event could cause another one, could cause another one, could cause another one. And the amount of debris around the Earth could technically lock us earthbound.
Wow.
That's the
That's- that-
theory.
What is that called?
Kessler syndrome.
Kessler syndrome.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
And
It's a
that's
theory.
why I remember when China launched and fucking blew up their low Earth orbit, they created 40,000 pieces of junk.
Oh yeah, right. But those are little, man. Those are never going to
But
reach the
still,
Otero
though, it's
home
but
in
it's that,
Florida.
but it goes to that syndrome because like one piece
But here's
attacks another piece, and
I'm
then
with
more
you. I'm with
pieces,
you.
and-
But
yeah.
here's where
They're not moving slow.
I do want to curse the engineers. They sent a 2.9 ton pallet of dense ass
Yeah,
batteries.
exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't a friggin'
It wasn't a
shield
hollow
or a
rocket
fairing
body.
or something.
Right,
like-
right.
Yeah.
This is like the
2.9
densest thing
tons.
that you can
And-
make.
And then what material is it made out of too? And now they're poisoning the Earth. Thank you. Like
Well, I mean, you can worry about the Earth in a couple of years. Hopefully, it doesn't
toxic.
cave your head in your bed at night.
Start wearing a hard hat.
hey, I just hope it's quick. I just hope it's
Jeez.
quick. It's like I hope it just doesn't get me in the middle. Just like make it quick.
Well, that would be it. Yeah, that would be it. So to all our listeners and viewers, there you go. I send you off with sweet dreams tonight.
Nice.
Eric, take us home with some U.S. military history.
Fellas, I'm going to make it quick. I got two of them for you, though, so I'm going to discuss both. So
All
just
right.
real quick.
All right.
So we never forget our own. So this is the 25th anniversary of June 25th, 1996.
Wow.
The Khobar bombing. A
That is
tanker.
crazy. Was 96.
1996.
Wow.
A tanker truck loaded with 25,000 pounds of explosives rips through the U.S. Air Force military housing complex, the Khobar Towers in Dhahran, Saudi Arabia,
Wow.
killing 19 U.S. airmen and wounding nearly 500 others. So I just wanted to bring that up. We don't want to forget our own.
Good one.
I don't want to forget our own. So the other piece of history I thought was very interesting for tonight was June 25th, 1876. General George Armstrong, Custer, discovers a small Indian village on the banks of the Little Bighorn River.
Oh my God.
Yes, Custer confidently ordered his troops to attack, not realizing that he was confronting the main Lakota and Cheyenne encampment.
Yeah.
A large warrior force. Most estimates range from 1,200 to 1,500, led by Crazy Horse, descended upon Custer's regiment, and within hours, about a third of the 7th Cavalry, including General Custer and all 210 men, or so men under his direct command were massacred. The only survivor of that little massacre was a horse named Comanche. And that
Appropriate.
Really?
appropriate. The horse was Comanche, but yeah. So
Wow.
Custer's last stand,
Wow.
1980 or 1880, 1876. Woo.
For
Wow.
Jake and Marty, did you guys remember Phil Miller?
Yeah, he was at Khobar, right?
He was at
Mhm.
Khobar's, yeah, because he had
Yeah.
that Purple Heart, and I asked him about it, and
Right.
he was telling me
right.
the story how he was going in and out, and just like how that happened. So that's just crazy. Like yeah.
Can't forget
So
our
for
own,
me, it was
man.
just like, wow, you were
Yeah.
there. So
Well, that was a good one,
You know.
man. That's two good ones, actually. Horrible day.
Yes.
Jesus.
That was a tough day back then.
Yeah.
But you did redeem yourself because Marty was a little hesitant on the 2 histories. He was like, yeah, here we go.
Well,
He never
I was
follows instruction.
I mean, when he brought up Khobar Towers, I was like, oh shit, that's a big one. And he's like, well, I got one that's, and I was like, and then when he said 18, and I was like,
Even back.
Well, let me
But
guess.
no,
The
I had no idea it
French
was a little
fought
big one.
12 people over beaver pelts. Oh, God. That's what Marty was thinking.
I'm trying to keep it
Nobody
clean.
cares about the beaver pelt revenge or
well, they were American beaver pelts, so that's
beaver
okay.
pelt maiming of 1823. Nobody cares.
I couldn't resist about the most flamboyant freaking colonel in the freaking army.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, we should
Yeah.
have General Petty give us a battle analysis of that because it is very interesting in that
that'd be
how he was waiting for his third
Third Regiment.
battalion, I think, to
Battalion.
support, but they were slow in getting there. They never got there, and anyway, so
Custard or
Good one,
Crawford?
Eric.
Which one was it? The 21st commander that dressed up like Custard or
the
dominate
have
the
a
high
video?
ground?
was
Hey,
it Colonel Crawford?
do you-
Is that who it was? Oh, that infamous!
You
did
should-
you
you should
send
show
us
that
that? That
YouTube
was
video.
so. Oh my god, that was so
We sent it to
infamous. It really was.
Eric. We sent
Right.
that to you, didn't we?
Oh,
Oh,
you had an
my
officer
God.
dressed up like Custer?
He
And
was
he's like,
trying to make a
Dominate
video.
the high ground.
Yeah, it was
Ground.
dominate
It
the high
was
ground.
so cheeseball. It was
I thought
amazing.
the best part, and he was way into it, and they were on horses with cavalry uniforms on.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
Now
Yeah.
the funniest part to me is I guess that's his DO or whoever it is with him,
Was it-
because there's
yeah.
another guy with him, and he could just
Probably forced
tell
him to
as
do
the
it.
video goes.
He
he's
is like this.
I do not want
Yes,
to be
sir. We should dominate the high ground.
It's so bad. It's so bad. But if you get it, yeah,
Yeah.
send it to
Because what
Eric.
was like the 21st model? Was it like something the High Frontier or what was it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the reason was that they put that out, but it was pretty damn funny. It was pretty.
You know, when I was researching Custard, here's just a little piece of what if for you. You know how most of the bodies were massacred and desecrated, cut
Right.
open, arrows. Custer's body was not. He was killed by 2 bullets. Either one were fatal, but that was it. He was not scalped, and he was not maimed, and he wasn't cut open, or you know how they were cutting off the genitals
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff. None of that occurred to his body.
Was that a respect thing?
I'm not sure.
Too small.
They
where it
couldn't
came
determine it, right? Yeah, they couldn't tell.
Could determine. Pretty crazy though.
All right, that's a good one, man. I think we came out just around an hour. That's good.
I put
What are you
that
doing?
Crawford YouTube in the chat.
Oh,
for you.
nice. Yeah, you got to watch that, Eric. Watch that one. It's
No,
hard
I'm
to
not-
get through because it's so like, oh my
Oh,
god,
it's
dude, really? And they
so,
pushed this
like-
out to everyone. They
It's
pushed it out.
Crazy Ed's auto sale. Come on down at Crazy Ed's. We'll put you in any car.
So
Come on over. We're the 21st
whoever
Space Command.
tried to talk him out of that was like, no, man, there's no talking the old man out of this. He's going full bore on this thing, man.
How many hours were spent on that thing?
Right. I'm
Just
sure he
some
came back
exec
in.
to find some uniform that fit him.
Oh, and the horses and the land and the camera crew and you
Yeah.
know whatever else they
Yeah.
set up, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure he burst into that Monday morning staff meeting. He's like, "You won't
Yes.
believe the gold that I just made this weekend."
Eric, fire it up, man. We should share.
I did. I was looking at it. You know what though? This wasn't about Custer. It was Custer, but it wasn't at Little
It's
Bighorn. It
definitely-
was Gettysburg.
It's definitely not. Yeah, it's not custard. But I was just.
Oh, it's not Gettysburg either. It's an abortion. It's
well, in the
horrible.
video, it comes up with Gettysburg in the title.
Right. It's just terrible. It's trash.
Okay.
It is. I don't know what happened to him after that, but maybe we should find that out. So
Ooh.
You can interview
See
him.
if we can get him on the show.
He'll
And that's
come
what
on.
he was thinking.
yeah, maybe he will. Like a bitter old long bearded guy, and he's like, "Let me tell you, I was on top of the world,
Dominating the
Until
highway.
that damn YouTube got me.
until my deal talked me into it. He set me up."
He came in and he had me at the hat. Have you
Actually,
seen that hat?
No,
Those tassels,
Hey.
man. They got me.
if you can get the DO, we can find out who the DO was, get him on the show, and then
He's in
find
it.
out what was really going on.
Oh yeah.
Or interview him in 2 separate times and see if he's doing this.
Yeah.
Well, he's probably There's another skit in the making right there. All right, fellas, let's call end up. On behalf of all of us here, I'd like to thank you for listening today. Please like, share, subscribe, and let us know how we did in the comments. And make sure next week that you are not late for changeover like Little Mule was. Man, thanks for the week. And to everyone listening, thanks for watching and listening. We'll see you next week.
Right on, fellas.
That was a good one.
Dude, I should have brought a box of donuts when I logged on.
Oh, you dummy. You should have
That
brought
would've
a
been-
box of donuts.
Good job.